Here's the text extracted from the image. The case for mixed ability classes. Picture this scene. It's an English literature lesson in a UK school, and the teacher has just read an extract from Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet with a class of 15-year-olds. He's given some of the students copies of No Fear Shakespeare, a kid-friendly translation of the original. For 3 students, even these literacy demands are beyond them. Another girl simply can't focus, and he gives her pens and paper to draw with. The teacher can ask the No Fear group to identify the key characters and maybe provide a tentative plot summary. He can ask most of the class about character development, and 5 of them might be able to support their statements with textual evidence. Now 2 curious students are wondering whether Shakespeare advocates living a life of moderation or one of passionate engagement. As a teacher myself, I'd think my lesson would be going rather well if the discussion went as described above. But wouldn't this kind of class work better if there weren't such a huge gap between the top and the bottom? If we put all the kids who needed literacy support into one class and all the students who want to discuss the virtue of moderation into another? The practice of streaming or tracking involves separating students into classes depending on their diagnosed levels of attainment. At a macro level, it requires the establishment of academically selective schools for the brightest students and comprehensive schools for the rest. Within schools, it means selecting students into a stream of general ability or sets of subjects according to their strengths. The aim is to better match the student's ability to their educational experience. I have heard the mixed ability model attacked by way of analogy, a group hike. The fittest in the group take the lead and set a brisk pace, only to have to stop and wait every 20 minutes. This is frustrating and their enthusiasm wanes. Meanwhile, the slowest ones are not only embarrassed but physically struggling to keep up. What's worse, they never get a long enough break. They honestly just want to quit. Hiking, they feel, is not for them. Mixed ability classes bore students, frustrate parents and burn out teachers. The brightest ones will never summit Mount Komolangma, and the stragglers won't enjoy the lovely stroll in the park they are perhaps more suited to. Individuals suffer at the demands of the collective. Mediocrity prevails. So, is learning like hiking? The current pedagogical paradigm is arguably that of constructivism, which emerged out of the work of psychologist Lev Vygotsky. In the 1930s, Vygotsky emphasized the importance of targeting a student's specific zone of proximal development, ZPD. This is the gap between what they can achieve only with support, teachers, textbooks, worked examples, parents, and so on, and what they can achieve independently. The purpose of teaching is to provide and then gradually remove this scaffolding until they are autonomous. If we accept this model, it follows that streaming students with similar ZPDs would be an efficient and effective approach. Forcing everyone on the same hike, regardless of aptitude, would be madness. Despite all this, there is evidence that mixed ability teaching produces better outcomes for students. Professor John Hattie, director of the Melbourne Education Research Institute, notes that tracking has minimal effects on learning outcomes. What is more, streaming appears to significantly and negatively affect those students assigned to the lowest sets. These students tend to have much higher representation of low socioeconomic class. Less significant is the small benefit for those lucky, clever students in the higher sets. The overall result is that the smart stay smart and the dumb get dumber, further entrenching the social divide. In the latest update of Hattie's influential meta-analysis of factors influencing student achievement, one of the most significant factors is the teacher's estimate of achievement. Streaming students by diagnosed achievement automatically limits what the teacher feels the student is capable of. Meanwhile, in a mixed environment, teachers' estimates need to be more diverse and flexible. While streaming might seem to help teachers effectively target a student's ZPD, it can underestimate the importance of peer-to-peer learning. A crucial aspect of constructivist theory is the role of the MKO, more knowledgeable other, in knowledge construction. While teachers are traditionally the MKOs in classrooms, the value of knowledgeable student peers must not go unrecognized either. I find it amazing to watch students get over an idea to their peers in ways that I would never think of. They operate with different language tools and different social tools from teachers and, having just learnt it themselves, they possess similar cognitive structures to their struggling classmates. There is also something exciting about passing on skills and knowledge that you yourself have just mastered. A certain pride and zeal, a certain freshness to the interaction between teacher and learner that is often lost by the expert for whom the steps are obvious and the joy of discovery forgotten. Having a variety of different abilities in a collaborative learning environment provides valuable resources for helping students meet their learning needs, not to mention improving their communication and social skills. And today, more than ever, we need the many to flourish, not suffer at the expense of a few bright stars. Once a year, I go on a hike with my class, a mixed bunch of students. It is challenging. The fittest students realize they need to encourage the falterer. There are lookouts who report back and extra items to carry for others. We make it together.